ReZero returned from the dead and didn't waste a second to develop its plot. This line is gonna be relevant throughout this entire review. Studio White Fox has done something incredible, something game changing, and this has to be brought to light. After season 1, we all had questions about how the plot was going to develop, what's going to happen, but we weren't interested in getting answers. I mean, sure, it would be good to know if our best girl won. Oh shit. But due to the anime community changing their favorite shows every season, ReZero's mystery were long forgotten. But this was until the trailer released. Once the trailer released, people were reminded how amazing ReZero was back when it aired.
誰も失いたくないんだよ
Hey, stop! Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit.
Not gonna lie, the series has everything an anime needs, coming back after a long break, an interesting trailer, best girl Satella, and a hyped fan base. If they provide quality storytelling, animation, soundtracks, and voice acting with every episode, then it could potentially break into people's top anime. And well,
You did. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
we got a mixture of the best thing that makes an anime great. No, not that. After season 1, I wouldn't have thought that ReZero was that good at small character interactions, which means a lot. I mean, the show was pretty straightforward in season 1, and that's definitely not a bad thing. But in season 2, you start to notice a change in writing. Or maybe you're like me and just start to appreciate Tappei's way of storytelling. The problems Subaru usually deals with have been impossible for a single person to take on alone, and season 2 is no different. There was a small group of people complaining about how the series has no real consequences, because Subaru can just return by that and keep dying to solve the issue.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Adding to Gluttony eating Rem's name, which basically altered the past as well, we get a save point after Rem gets eaten. And Subaru cannot prevent this as he's done everything before. As he's safe now, he has to find a solution which is infinitely harder, but it can be solved with a continuous use of Return by Death. We are shown different realities during the second trial, and as per Echidna's knowledge, those realities may or may not be parallel existences. But I can bet you Byaku's both Subaru and the audience will no longer take Return by Death for granted anymore. We have always known that Return by Death helps immensely in the development of all the characters in the anime. These characters are essential in completing a loop. Even if Subaru does his maximum, any one wrong move done by anyone can bring about a massive change. This season we were introduced to all the witches. Every single witch has a distinct personality and they're all intriguing in their own way, and we would gladly devour their backstories if they are revealed. And this is exactly what makes ReZero stand out. Everyone has their own story, a story which makes sense and a past which makes them act the way they do right now. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that Teppei created every character with just as much care as he created his main character Subaru. Rem's name being eaten influenced many characters in a different way. For example, Ram became more sharp-tongued and even more attached to Rosewald due to the lack of Rem in her life. Petra seems to be a little overly attached to Subaru, and she even claims a man with a handkerchief as soon as she enters the waifu wars. Which makes sense, as according to her, Subaru single-handedly saved the village back in season 1. This isn't explicitly shown or told to us, but it is definitely noticeable. Why do they keep crushing Petra's feelings in animes? Echidna becoming one of the main focuses this season gave us all something to think about. We had this consensus that all the witches are evil, but the continuous meetings with Echidna, her real motives in the end, and Daphne's speech about hunger just proves to show that the world isn't so black or white. Witches are wildly misunderstood people, to the point where they misunderstand themselves. They do certain things for the betterment of the world, but the way they go about on it is so unbelievably complex that a normal person wouldn't be able to comprehend it. For example, Echidna wants to know about everything because an endless knowledge is definitely a boon in this world. But the way she goes to get Subaru's Return by Death experience is truly terrifying. According to Teppei's tweet, If Subaru had went ahead with the contract, he would have had to die more than 10,000 times just to satisfy her greed of different possibilities every time. We finally get some understanding as to why Subaru was cursed by Satella with Return by Death, and this is revealed in a beautiful exchange of rage and love.
違う。もっとあなたを愛して、どうして気づかないの？あなたが救いたいと願うすべての中には、あなたもいるべきだって。
Sure, we don't get to see why Satella has this unwavering affliction to Subaru, but at least we get to know that she isn't the evil mastermind we all imagined. But man, ain't our boy Subaru's roast on point?
くらいなら同じ魔女でも生きドラたちの方がまだ愛せる。
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
I would love to talk about Minner, I mean all the witches, but we don't have enough knowledge about them or their backstories, but I'm pretty sure we'll receive it in part 2. Say what you want, but Emilia was the dark horse of this season's first part. It's sad to know while our boy Subaru was at the front lines, she was suffering at the castle. Subaru has always needed emotional support. Without that, he breaks down, and we can't really blame him for that. In season 1, he had Rem to push him through those hard times. In season 2, well, Emilia was his emotional support. Then it turned out to be Echidna for better or worse. Emilia's state this season was brutal. No matter who you ship or would like to see happy, we all have to agree no one really wants to see terrified Emilia ever again. Her trial takes a massive toll on her every time she undergoes it, and I can't wait to find out what's gonna happen next. You know what surprised me more than Roswaal turning out to be a villain? His makeup being magic! Although we did get startled after he revealed the stuff he did. I mean, Roswaal's interference could go back as to season 1. He could have planned the insignia being stolen, the mansion being attacked, and the possibilities are endless throughout. An anime sequel is very hard to pull off, but ReZero did it. Studio White Fox sacrificed its opening and ending to the point where they were only played 3 times in the entire series. The scriptwriters had their work cut out for them in many sequences due to the detailed writings in the novels. Echidna's speech was apparently 4 pages long, and they actually did it under 2 minutes. Props to Maya Sakamoto for recording it in 1 take. Speaking of voice actors,
私がディオだ。
even if you have good side characters, music, art, and a brilliant voice acting cast, a series rides on its main character. We have had a long journey with Subaru completely from his perspective, and we've come to know a lot about this guy than he would about himself. The way he would act or think in certain situations. A character like this requires a lot of care and devotion to create, and Tape did exactly that. It wasn't surprising that people wanted him to kill himself every time any additional character died in season 1. But now, after season 2, part 1, we genuinely care for him. We don't want him to suffer anymore. His actions might not have always been the most selfless or the most understandable. Heck, there have been so many times he has failed. But in the end, that's what makes him so interesting. That's what makes us watch ReZero. Because in the end, we all want him to save everyone and especially look badass doing it.